Ladies and gentlemen, there is something about human nature that has puzzled hearts for generations, and it is this simple truth. A man often realizes a woman's true value only after he loses her. While she stands beside him, loving him, supporting him, believing in him, he may see her presence as ordinary. He wakes up to her kindness and thinks it is routine. He hears her encouragement and thinks it is expected. He feels her loyalty and assumes it is permanent. That is the strange blindness familiarity can create. When something beautiful becomes part of daily life, it stops looking extraordinary to the person who sees it every day. He doesn't recognize that what he calls normal is actually rare. He doesn't understand that what he calls ordinary is actually a blessing many men spend their entire lives searching for. While she is there, he might overlook the small sacrifices she makes. He may not notice how she chooses her words carefully so she doesn't hurt his pride. He may not see how she defends him when others criticize him. He may not realize how many silent prayers she whispers for his success, his protection, and his peace. To him, she is just there, just loving, just giving, just caring. And because she is consistent, because she is steady, because she is faithful, he starts to believe she will always be there, no matter what he does or how little effort he gives. That assumption becomes his greatest mistake. You see, appreciation often comes after absence. When she is gone, the silence she leaves behind begins to speak louder than her voice ever did. The space beside him feels different. The days feel longer. The nights feel heavier. The laughter he once ignored becomes an echo in his memory. And suddenly he starts remembering details he once overlooked. The way she smiled when she saw him. The way she listened when he talked. The way she stood by him when things went wrong. Memory has a way of polishing the truth until it shines brighter than it ever did in real time. What he failed to see while she was present becomes painfully clear when she is no longer there. At first, he might try to distract himself. He tells himself he's fine. He convinces himself he didn't need her. He surrounds himself with noise, with people with movement, anything that keeps him from sitting still with his thoughts. But distractions are temporary, and truth is patient. Truth waits. It waits for the quiet moments. It waits for the late nights. It waits for the times when there is nothing left to do but think. And when those moments come, realization begins to settle in. He starts to understand that what she gave him was not easy to find. Her love was not casual. Her loyalty was not guaranteed. Her patience was not endless. Those were gifts, and he treated them like they were ordinary supplies that would never run out. A man often thinks value is measured by what he must chase. If he has to pursue it, earn it, struggle for it, then he believes it must be valuable. But when love is given freely, he sometimes mistakes it for something that required no effort and therefore has no great worth. He forgets that the greatest things in life are often given, not earned. He forgets that genuine love is not common, not cheap, not easily replaced. So when she walks away, when she finally decides her love is no longer appreciated, that is when he begins to understand the true price of what he lost. He sees it in comparison. Every conversation with someone new feels different. Every smile from another woman lacks something he cannot quite name. Every interaction reminds him, in small, subtle ways, of what she used to do without being asked. He starts to notice the difference between attention and care, between attraction and devotion, between company and connection. And that is when realization deepens, because he understands that what she gave him wasn't just affection. It was sincerity. It was intention. It was heart. There is a particular kind of regret that comes from losing someone who truly loved you. It is not loud. It does not shout. It settles slowly, like evening light fading into night. It shows up when he wishes he could tell her something and remembers he can't. It shows up when something good happens and he instinctively wants to share it with her. It shows up when life gets difficult and he realizes the person who would have comforted him is no longer there to call. Regret like that is quiet, but it is powerful because it carries the weight of truth. What makes this realization so strong is that deep down he knows she did not leave because she stopped loving him. She left because she loved herself enough to stop being taken for granted. And that understanding changes everything. It forces him to confront himself. It makes him look back at his actions, his words, his neglect, his pride. It makes him admit that he had something real and didn't treat it as real. That kind of self-awareness is not easy. It is heavy. It is humbling. It is the kind of lesson that stays with a man for the rest of his life. Time passes, but the realization doesn't fade. In fact, it often grows stronger. Because as he experiences more of life, meets more people, and sees more relationships, he begins to recognize just how rare genuine love actually is. He notices how many people pretend, how many people play games, how many people give only when it benefits them. And then he remembers her, the one who gave without calculation, who cared without condition, who loved without hesitation. That memory becomes a quiet reminder of what he once had in his hands and didn't hold tightly enough. And that is why they say a man often realizes a woman's true value only after he loses her, because loss removes illusion, loss removes pride, loss removes distraction. What remains is clarity, clear, undeniable, unavoidable clarity about who she was, what she gave, and what he let slip away. Regret is a strange emotion. It does not knock loudly on the door of your heart when everything first falls apart. It does not arrive with sirens or alarms. No, real regret is quiet. It waits. It stands at a distance while pride is still talking, while ego is still making speeches, while excuses are still being rehearsed. But when love was genuine and unconditional, regret does not stay away forever. It walks in slowly, sits down beside a man, and begins to speak in a voice he cannot silence. Because there is nothing heavier than realizing you lost someone who loved you without conditions, without games, and without limits. You see, there is a difference between losing attention and losing real love. Attention can be replaced in a moment. Attention is everywhere. Attention is easy to find, easy to attract, easy to entertain. But genuine love, the kind that is patient, the kind that is loyal, the kind that sees your flaws and still stays, that kind of love is rare. Many men don't understand that difference until it is too late. While they have it, they treat it like it's common. They think it's just another relationship, just another person, just another chapter. But once it's gone, they discover it wasn't just a chapter. It was the whole story holding their life together. When a woman loves a man genuinely, she doesn't love him only when he's strong. She loves him when he's weak. She doesn't stand beside him only when he's winning. She stands beside him when he's losing. She doesn't believe in him only when success is obvious. She believes in him when success is invisible to everyone else. That kind of love is powerful because it gives a man something he can't buy, something he can't borrow, and something he can't fake. It gives him emotional security. It gives him confidence. It gives him peace. And the tragedy is many men only recognize that peace after the storm comes, after she's gone. At first he might brush it off. He tells himself he's fine. He says it wasn't meant to be. He convinces himself she was replaceable. But time has a way of revealing truth that pride tries to hide. Days pass, weeks pass, maybe months pass. And slowly he starts noticing something missing. Not just her presence, but her essence. The warmth she carried, the comfort she brought, the calm she created just by being there. He begins to understand that her love wasn't loud, wasn't flashy, wasn't dramatic. It was steady. And steady love is the strongest kind there is. Regret hits harder when love was genuine, because genuine love leaves fingerprints on the soul. You can't wash it off. You can't forget it. You can't pretend it didn't matter. It shows up in memories. It shows up in habits. It shows up in the little things. He might hear a joke and remember how she used to laugh. He might face a problem and remember how she used to encourage him. He might feel tired and remember how she used to comfort him. Those memories don't ask permission to appear. They just come. And every time they come, they remind him of the truth he tried to ignore. She loved him in a way that was real. There is also a painful realization that follows. He begins to see that not everyone loves like she did. Some people love with conditions. Some people love with expectations. Some people love only when it benefits them. But she loved him even when it cost her something. She gave him her time, her patience, her understanding, her loyalty. She invested in him emotionally. And when a man realizes he lost someone who invested in him like that, the weight of that realization is heavy. Because he knows he didn't just lose a person, he lost a blessing. Regret becomes even stronger when he recognizes the moments he took for granted. The time she forgave him when he didn't deserve it. The time she stayed silent instead of arguing. The time she supported him when he doubted himself. Those memories replay in his mind like scenes from a film he can't turn off. And every scene carries the same message: she was real, and he didn't see it clearly when he had the chance. A man can handle losing many things in life. He can handle losing money. He can handle losing opportunities. He can even handle losing friends. But losing someone who genuinely loved him touches something deeper. It touches his conscience. Because deep down, he knows genuine love is not something you find every day. It's not something you can simply replace with someone new. Real love is rare, and rare things become more valuable once they're gone. There is also a loneliness that comes with that regret. Not just physical loneliness, but emotional loneliness. He may be surrounded by people, noise, conversations, distractions, yet still feel something missing inside. That emptiness is not about being alone. It's about losing the person who made him feel understood. Genuine love makes a person feel seen. It makes them feel accepted. It makes them feel valued for who they truly are. And once that feeling disappears, a man realizes how special it was. Sometimes he tries to convince himself he'll find it again. He tells himself there are many people in the world. And that's true. There are many people. But there are not many who love sincerely. There are not many who give their heart fully. There are not many who stay loyal when things get hard. And that's when regret deepens, because he understands that what he lost wasn't just someone. It was someone rare. The hardest part is that regret doesn't change the past. It doesn't rewind time. It doesn't reopen doors that have been closed. It simply reminds him of what he had. It reminds him of what he did. It reminds him of what he failed to appreciate. And those reminders don't fade easily, because genuine love leaves a permanent mark on memory. You see, when love is casual, losing it is casual. But when love is genuine, losing it is unforgettable. Genuine love touches a man's spirit in a way nothing else can. It strengthens him, supports him, and shapes him. And when it's gone, he feels the difference. He feels it in quiet moments. He feels it in difficult days. He feels it in times when he needs encouragement and realizes the voice that used to encourage him is no longer there. That is why regret hits harder when love was genuine and unconditional. Because deep in his heart, he knows he didn't just lose affection. He lost someone who truly cared for his soul, someone who wanted his happiness, someone who stood by him not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And once a man understands the value of that kind of love, that understanding stays with him. It becomes a lesson written not on paper, but on his heart, where it cannot be erased. There is one teacher in life that never raises its voice yet leaves the deepest impact. One teacher that doesn't stand in front of a classroom, yet shapes a man more than any lecture ever could. One teacher that doesn't announce its arrival yet changes everything the moment it enters a man's life. That teacher is loss, because loss has a way of revealing truths that comfort hides, and it has a way of showing a man lessons that pride would never allow him to learn. When everything is going well, when love is steady, when a woman is standing beside him giving her heart sincerely, a man can live inside an illusion. He can believe he is in control. He can believe he is the prize. He can believe he has time. Pride whispers to him that he can fix things later, apologize later, appreciate later, change later. Pride tells him that she will always be there, that her patience is permanent, that her love is guaranteed. But loss steps in and shatters that illusion in a single moment, and suddenly the world looks different. When a man loses a woman who truly loved him, the first lesson loss teaches him is the difference between presence and value. While she was present, he might have mistaken her consistency for something ordinary. He saw her every day, heard her voice often, felt her care constantly, and because it was familiar, he underestimated it. Familiarity can be deceptive. What is always there can start to feel like it will always be there. He didn't wake up thinking he was blessed. He woke up thinking life was normal. But once she's gone, once her voice is no longer there, once her messages stop, once her presence disappears from his daily routine, that's when he begins to understand that what he called normal was actually extraordinary. Loss removes the comfort that hid the truth, and suddenly he sees clearly what he once overlooked. Loss also teaches him about effort. When she loved him, she gave naturally. She didn't make him beg for loyalty. She didn't make him chase for affection. She didn't make him struggle for understanding. She offered those things freely because her love was real. And because she gave freely, he assumed they required no effort to keep. But once she leaves, he discovers something important. He discovers that the easiest love to receive is often the hardest love to replace. He begins to see that attention from others is not the same as devotion. Compliments are not the same as commitment. Attraction is not the same as loyalty. And that realization humbles him because he understands that what she gave him was not basic. It was rare. There is a certain silence that follows loss, and that silence becomes a mirror. In that quiet space, a man can no longer distract himself with noise or excuses. He has to sit with his thoughts. He has to replay memories. He has to face himself. And loss has a way of asking questions that pride never asked. It asks him why he didn't appreciate her patience. It asks him why he ignored her feelings. It asks him why he assumed she would stay no matter how little effort he gave. Those questions don't come with accusations. They come with clarity. And clarity is powerful because once a man truly sees himself, he cannot unsee what he has learned. Loss teaches him that love is not proven by how long someone stays, but by what they give while they are there. He begins to realize that her staying wasn't weakness. It was strength. It wasn't desperation. It was devotion. She stayed because she believed in him. She stayed because she saw something in him worth loving. She stayed because her heart was genuine. And understanding that changes how he views her departure. He realizes she didn't leave because she didn't care. She left because she cared enough about herself to stop accepting less than she deserved. That realization reshapes his perspective. It forces him to respect her in a way he may not have respected her before. Another lesson loss teaches a man is patience. While she was with him, he might have rushed through conversations, dismissed her concerns, or brushed off her emotions. But after she's gone, he begins to wish he had slowed down. He wishes he had listened more closely. He wishes he had paid attention to the little things she said, the subtle hints she gave, the quiet ways she tried to tell him what she needed. Loss slows him down because there is no one left to rush past. There is no one left to ignore. There is only memory, and memory takes its time. It replays moments slowly, carefully, showing him details he missed the first time. Loss also strips away arrogance. When she loved him, he might have felt irreplaceable. He might have believed she would never walk away. He might have thought she needed him more than he needed her. But once she leaves and doesn't return, once he realizes she can lie, smile, and move forward without him, that illusion breaks. He understands that love is not ownership. He understands that no one is obligated to stay where they are not valued. And that understanding humbles him in a way success never could. Success can inflate ego, but loss deflates it. Success can make a man feel powerful, but loss reminds him he is human. There is also a lesson about time. While she was there, he believed he had plenty of it. Plenty of time to change. Plenty of time to fix things. Plenty of time to show appreciation. But loss teaches him that time is not promised. Opportunities don't wait forever. Hearts don't stay open indefinitely. When someone gives you love, they are giving you a moment that will never exist again in exactly the same way. And once that moment passes, it cannot be recreated. That truth stays with him because he realizes he didn't lose her suddenly. He lost her slowly through missed chances, ignored warnings, and unspoken apologies that he never delivered. Loss has another powerful lesson. It teaches him what truly matters. When she was there, he may have prioritized distractions, pride, or temporary pleasures. He may have chosen ego over understanding, silence over communication, stubbornness over growth. But after she's gone, those things don't feel important anymore. The things he once chased start to feel shallow. The things he once ignored start to feel valuable. Loss rearranges his priorities without asking permission. It shows him that real connection is more meaningful than attention, that loyalty is more valuable than excitement, and that genuine love is more powerful than temporary thrill. A man who experiences this kind of loss often carries the lesson for the rest of his life. It changes how he looks at relationships. It changes how he treats people. It changes how he listens, how he speaks, how he responds. Because once he knows what it feels like to lose someone who truly loved him, He understands the cost of carelessness. He understands that love is not something to be tested endlessly. He understands that hearts are not designed to withstand neglect forever. And that understanding becomes a guide for his future actions. Sometimes he wishes he could go back. Sometimes he wishes he could rewind time and respond differently, speak differently, appreciate more, complain less. But loss doesn't offer rewinds. It offers wisdom. It doesn't change the past. It changes the person. And that is its greatest power. Because a man who has learned through loss sees love differently when it appears again. He recognizes sincerity faster. He values loyalty deeper. He respects patience more, not because someone told him to, but because experience taught him to. And that is why loss teaches lessons that pride never could. Pride protects a man from admitting his mistakes. Loss forces him to face them. Pride tells him he is right. Loss shows him where he was wrong. Pride keeps his eyes closed. Loss opens them. The lessons that come from loss are not gentle, but they are lasting. They carve understanding into his character. They write truth onto his heart. They shape the way he thinks, the way he chooses, and the way he loves from that moment forward.